What's going on, guys? Andrew of New Bark Gaming back here, and today we're going to be talking some about the Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains episode 94 cast list. Now, just for a brief review, let's go over the summary and title for this one more time. The title is going to be Raging Soul, and the summary reads as follows. Playmaker fell unconscious due to his battle with Kusinagi. In order to protect him, Soulburner begins a duel against Bowman. Soulburner is enraged by Lightning's underhanded tactics. However, Bowman just sports a sinister smile on his face as he talks to Soulburner. Then the cast list, and this is where things get very, very spicy, my friends. We have Yusaku, Ai, Soulburner, Flame, Shoichi Kusinagi, Revolver, Faust, Vira, Bowman, Lightning, Frog/Pigeon, and our extras. Now, this is kind of an insane cast list for one reason. Prior to going into this, the simplest solution to the Playmaker versus Kusinagi duel is you have Playmaker come out the victor, Kusinagi's data is deleted, and then Playmaker passes out as a result of the emotional strain he feels from essentially needing to kill off his longest running friend at this point in the show. That being said, Kusinagi appears in this cast list. Now, of course, the simplest explanation for that is he appears within the context of the flashback, or the duel concludes towards the beginning of this episode, or they're kind of just talking about episode 93 in the beginning via the review of the previous episode that they do a lot of times, at which rate he may still get a mention in the cast list despite being defeated and having his data deleted. That being said, this implies a lot of strong possibilities for that hack somehow interfering in the duel, making it so either Mirror Link Vrains' duel rules are modified, or Kusinagi wins the duel, and then somehow Playmaker's still spared despite all that because the rules are modified, or because of his tie to Link Sense, or something crazy like that. Or, maybe AI sacrifices himself, or just something insane in order to protect Playmaker. It also opens up the possibility for Kusinagi losing the duel and the rules being interrupted, or even something that forces a no result, such as Playmaker passing out in the middle of the duel. Shout out to my comments section for suggesting that theory. So with all of that really being the case, this leaves us totally ambiguous as to what the results of the duel are. What this is spelling out to me more and more, especially given the fact that once more Soulburner is essentially able to walk free, otherwise he couldn't get to the area of Mirror Link Vrains that Yusaku's located in order to protect him, is that in some way, shape, or form, also based on the fact that these characters appear within this episode, Vira and her fellow Knights of Hanoi outside of Link Vrains managed to get Kusinagi's program working and managed to interfere in some way, shape, or form on Mirror Link Vrains itself, hence why Soulburner's moving forward, and I'd say at this point it's pretty likely to assume that there's a pretty good chance that's why Kusinagi's still showing up in our cast lists. So if that's the case, guys, then we really have to start asking ourselves, how powerful are Lightning and Bowman really still at this point? I mean, obviously they're both still very strong duelists, but one of the best gimmicks they had going for them is within Mirror Link Vrains, they made the rules. That was the reason people were essentially dying when they would lose duels. Those aren't the type of rules that Yusaku and company would have necessarily set. They were Bowman and Lightning's. Why? Because nobody could control Mirror Link Vrains the way they could. Nobody could undermine those rules. But if Vira and her fellow knights were able to work out Kusinagi's program and do all this other stuff, which once more, we're not guaranteed that, but if they were, then we really have to question the level of power Bowman and Lightning still genuinely have over there. After all, the primary gimmick, the primary thing they wanted to set in stone about Mirror Link Vrains was this rule that the loser had their data deleted. So if that's suddenly gone, then their power starts to get into a little bit more of a hairy area, and then we may even be seeing the show put a little bit more focus on the hacking side of this conflict, which is something they were hinting at pretty heavily towards the beginning of the season, and then just never ended up hitting upon a whole lot. I think that could add a layer of depth if they end up writing it well, but we'll just have to wait and find out. So on the whole, guys, this opens up a lot of possibilities that were before still present, but not necessarily as prominent or as strong as just a simple explanation of Playmaker winning, Kusinagi being gone, and then Playmaker passing out from the emotional strain. This summary makes it a lot easier to make a case for Kusinagi and Playmaker both surviving for any number of reasons. So with all that being said, be sure to let me know your thoughts, comments, theories, etc. in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If not, constructive criticism is always welcome, and I'll catch you guys next time with some more Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains discussion.